I think this is just a fantastic day. The way I feel here for this kind of inaugural meeting of beginning the actual laying of the broadband around the state has the same power and the same impact as when the great B&O Railroad that helped build America began to leave Baltimore out of what is now the Inner Harbor and began to lay it one rail, one track at a time. And as it left Baltimore and headed west, it took the hopes and dreams of the American people about building a nation, building an economy, and building the future for its people. And this is exactly where we are today. We are going to use broadband to build a new economy and a new future, making our country safer because of the way we'll support our defense industries and a stronger economy. We are here today because of all of the tremendous hard work in this room. And Derek, we want to thank you for being one of the first major contractors. We thank you for hosting this. We thank you for what you're going to do to help us lay the fiber optics all over the state. And by the way, he's doing this all over the world. Let's give a nice shout out for Derek and his team. To Governor O'Malley, our prime mover in terms of the innovation economy, both the physical infrastructure to do it, the human capital through workforce development to get it done, and the attraction of jobs. He's back from Asia, and can you imagine we're actually bringing jobs from Asia to America rather than the rest. Boy, let's hear it for Governor O'Malley. To all of my colleagues in government, and I'll talk about John and Team Maryland in a minute, our colleagues in county executives, leadership, and the Maryland General Assembly, and of course the Howard County Council. I really need to acknowledge the role of Larry Strickland and the NTIA team. This is the group at the Department of Commerce that got the money through the stimulus funds, that then got it out to the people promptly, without delay, without scandal, without blinking an eye, and I think it's without precedent that so much got done in so little time with such great competency. Let's do that. Well, I'm no Janie come lately to broadband. When I was working I was looking at the issues of jobs on the Eastern Shore. And one of the things we knew that the Eastern Shore economy was changing. And we also knew that traditional industries had to reach markets within our own state, within our own country, and within the world. Whether you were poultry, whether you were agriculture, whether you were seafood, you needed to reach out to Maryland and reach out across the Bay Bridge and across the Atlantic and the Pacific. What we knew we needed, whether you were in tourism or whether you wanted to track high tech with Western Shore jobs over on the Eastern Shore, they needed broadband. They needed broadband. And I went to work with my dear colleague, Senator John Warner of Virginia. John wanted to help for the tidal waters of the East down into Virginia, into Norfolk, and I wanted to come up Route 50 bringing broadband. We worked together to take broadband from Pax River, the great Naval Test Pilot School, across to Wallops Island, where we will now have Spaceport Wallops, where we will be launching to support the space station. And we began, John took broadband to Norfolk, and then I helped bring it up and worked with then Governor Ehrlich, and Governor O'Malley finished it. We brought broadband coming up, and we worked through the Maryland Broadband Cooperative. It was a great victory, but it was a beginning victory. It was 9 counties. It wasn't all of the counties. And we knew our future was dependent upon it. And when President Barack Obama came to the White House, his #1 priority, as his #1 priority today, is jobs, jobs, jobs. And he knew that one of the ways to do this was to take broadband to the entire United States of America. So when he went to work to ask Congress to pass the stimulus money, when he went to work with the Congress to pass the stimulus money. And people were against him, and they were against what we were doing. But there were those of us in Congress who had backbone to stand up to the mob, and we voted for that stimulus money. And that stimulus money now means that throughout the United States of America, in rural communities, or whether it's the Tennessee Valley Project, or the Grand Canyon, or the great city like New York and San Francisco, or a state like Maryland, we are bringing broadband here. I want to thank John Sarbanes, and I want to thank Team Maryland. I want to thank those on our congressional delegation who voted for it. And what were we able to do? We then went to compete for it. I helped put money in the federal checkbook. John, our colleagues in the House, we all worked together. Certainly the Democrats all worked together. And I don't want to go into politics, but it was politics. We had our head kicked in and other parts of our body all over this state. But you know what? Can't push Barbara Mikulski around. You can't push the delegation around. And so we went to work to make sure broadband was passed. Then Governor O'Malley and Ken Holman, building on the legacy of the Maryland Co-op, then went ahead and applied for a brand new grant. And Ken, I want to thank you for your leadership, for your vision, your know-how, the technical competency of your staff that helped put that grant together. It went right over to the Commerce Department, to NTIA, working with Governor O'Malley. We were able to win $115 million to wire the entire state of Maryland. And Governor O'Malley is putting up another $32 million. But it is not about money, it is about momentum. Momentum to carry forth the jobs. And what will this mean? Jobs, jobs, jobs. What we're kicking off today is the first jobs in the actual laying of the fiber optics. Over the course of the next 2.5 years, as we do this, there will be 1,800 jobs in construction, from the highly talented engineers to the heavy lifters who will actually move the dirt to get the job done. Wow, 1,800 jobs in construction at a very difficult time throughout the state. And then this will lead to thousands and thousands of jobs we yet don't know. Because in these jobs, what will we do? We're going to be supporting public safety. Broadband to 262 emergency centers. So when you call 911, whether it's a storm or a bridge over troubled waters, we'll be able to communicate statewide. It will increase educational opportunities, connecting over 500 schools and universities, from K through 12 to our great universities, all helping us put together in a digital Maryland. It will also support BRAC in terms of all of our defense agencies, but it also will support the private sector. If you want to have a market, you need broadband. If you want to be able to reach out to the world, you want broadband. Whether you are a biotech company trying to stay in touch with the latest research, or with partners around this country, you need broadband. Whether you're making a boat on the Eastern Shore, or whether you're building a small business here in the corridor, you need broadband. And I'm saying to you that when this project, the physical infrastructure is done 2.5 years from now, we will look back and know that it was on this day, this momentous day, that we put, usually they put in the spike in the ground. I guess it's microchips. But whatever, what we're going to do is this broadband will take broadband throughout the state, but most of all, it will take Maryland and its economy and its people in the 21st century. I am so part of Team Maryland. This is what the voters want us to do, working together, shoulder to shoulder, getting the job done. God bless you, God bless America, God bless Barack Obama for thinking of it in the first place.